Oh, baby, baby, you give me ice and fire. Ooh, both ends of the spectrum, whether it's super cold or super hot. Who treated me the same when my record wasn't hot? What's up, everyone? And happy Tuesday, March 12th to you all. How are you all doing? And if you could let me know in the comments how the sound is, just checking things out this morning. We've got a lot of good stuff to cover. Trick's hanging out with us and says he is living the dream. Awesome. By the way, Trick, were you able to watch the movie with Clint Eastwood, Heartbreak Ridge? Let me know. And also, someone could give me a sound check. I've got about a 20-ish second delay here on the stream. So I'm just waiting for some feedback to show up on my screen. But we got lots to talk about. BTC moving. Red Production said the sound is good. Thank you, Mucho. Mucho, thank you. But we got BTC that broke out from that 69,000 range and has pretty much stayed above 72, which is great. Now, what have we seen? Okay, the peak for XRP and the peak for XLM was touched. Yes, it's okay to touch it, just like it's okay to touch the old like button on streams like this. But you had XRP, XLM pull back just a little bit from the highs that they reached with the BTC pump. But the real news today is CPI data. You want the market to stay green? Well, we need homegirl to come down, to go down. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Is that what we're talking about this morning? So yeah, the deal is with this. CPI data needs to come on down, or else what's going to happen is rates will stay high longer. Now, I know we're going through a current market pump right now, which is really freaking cool. But if you want this pump to stay extended, if you want the floors to be raised, we need inflation to go down to put pressure on Jerome Powell and the Fed to chill the F out and start turning the valve down and making money cheaper. Trick says yes, it was brilliant. Trick is referring to the movie with Clint Eastwood called Heartbreak Ridge. All right, it is one of the coolest movies out there. It is a little bit on the longer side, but it is totally worth it. In fact, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when the Swede comes out and they're like, Swede, Swede, Swede. Swede Johansson, my big man, comes out and Clint drops him like a bag of dirty laundry. But the story today is CPI data. Right now, we're looking at this. The Fed is going to take a pause. Now, if something funky happens with the data and we come in with a 4-point something, that could really mess things up for us. Ideally, we need to get into the mid-twos. We really do. This move that you've seen here has essentially been 3% since June of 2023. Okay? June of 2023. So you got to figure, all right, since June of 2023, inflation has been pretty much 3%, 3.1, 3.7 in that range right there. So are we really knocking it down? No, we had kind of a pause. And in fact, if we zoom out just a little bit here and we move this into the 5-year, you could see, hold on, let me get this to the 5-year for you. You can see this right here. This is essentially what we're talking about. This has been sideways action, and we need this to go on down, like our significant others. Whoa, who said that this morning? Naughty live stream. So yeah, that's the deal, lemon peel. But we've got about, give me a second here, we've got about 23 minutes until CPI data comes out. So if you have questions, if you have comments, now is the time. One of the things I wanted to share with everyone was asset inflows. I track BTC miners a lot. I also check the CoinShares weekly report. And honestly, if you don't subscribe to that CoinShares weekly report, I don't pay anything for it. It's really good. It's made public too. I think it's made public maybe like the day after the report comes out. But the CoinShares report is really important because this talks about crypto weekly inflows. How much money is flowing into the market or flowing out? And what you can see here is over the last several weeks, okay? See how it says week number on the bottom? 52 is the end of the year, right here, right where I'm moving my cursor. Since the ETFs, we have seen massive inflows. In fact, 2.7 billion of inflow last week. Previous week was, I think, like 1.8 billion. Then we had like a 1.8. Then we had a 600 million. Then we had a 2.4 billion. So we're seeing massive amounts of money flow into the crypto space. And most of this money is coming from traditional finance. Dude, that's crazy. That is crazy to think that there is that much money on the sidelines with traditional finance moving into crypto. Andrew Butcher says, yo, we're all good. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, for joining us. And for everyone out there watching, do me a favor, hit the like button, share the stream with someone who's into global crypto events. Now, I also wanted to bring up that, yes, inflows have been hot. Okay, they have. They've been really hot. But the big problem with the inflows is who's owning crypto now. I mean, do you feel comfortable knowing that BlackRock and Sailor are like your two biggest BTC? Like, between two different entities, that's like the majority of BTC that's floating around. All right, most of it's locked up by now, cold wallets taken off. So you've got two big things, and specifically BlackRock I want to focus on. Sailor, he's fucking crazy. Sailor's nuts AF, man. He is just balls deep nuts. In fact, he has a BTC teddy bear that he sleeps with. You can't make that shit up. I'm being dead serious. You cannot make that stuff up. So, yes, we do have big inflows. Yes, we're seeing big money flow into the crypto market. And I'm not talking about the stupid shit that people are talking about. Oh, trillions are going to flow. Oh, billions are going to flow on chain. No one gives a shit about that. What people care about is assets flowing into the crypto market. How much are we taking away from traditional finance, okay? How much are we taking away from money on the sidelines? Because there is a fairly large group of people out there that have been putting cash on the sidelines, and they've been putting cash on the sidelines waiting for a market correction to buy. So not only are we stealing from traditional finance, which is great for crypto fans out there, but it's also cool to see that we're pulling money in from the sidelines. Walker Survivor says, yes, let them pump my bags. And I'm totally with you on that, Walker Survivor. Sometimes you have to make a deal with the devil to get what you want. All right? There are some of us that are fortunate enough to where we don't need to make a deal with the devil. We can keep our money clean and green. But, hey, if you got to make a deal sometimes with the devil to get what you want, for some of us, it's worth it. And that's what Walker's talking about right now, and that's what we're talking about right now. Yes, there's massive inflows in the crypto market, all right? Massive BTC ETF inflows. But remember, it's BlackRock that's the owner of those BTC. In fact, BlackRock passed Michael Saylor on ownership about a week ago. Then Michael Saylor was like, dude, hold my beer. Why? Because all of a sudden, Saylor was like, I'm going to buy even frickin' more, which was pretty interesting to see. So we're looking at XRP, we're looking at XLM, we're looking at BTC, we're looking at the entire market to see how things are moving. And right now, the emphasis is on inflation because, yes, crypto markets are hot. Let's just be real here. Crypto markets are hot. I don't think any of us are going to be denying that. But if inflation stays hot, your loans are going to stay hot. And if your loans stay hot, then guess what happens? Retail gets hampered in their buying power. Well, if retail is hampered in their buying power because inflation stays hot and retail is paying a lot more for interest, then where do you think the majority of these asset flows are coming from? Yeah, centralized traditional finance. So we're in this kind of weird situation right now where, yes, the crypto market is pumping. Yes, retail is kind of handcuffed by high inflation. But the bigs out there, all right, the bigs like your traditional finance, your BlackRocks and all that kind of fun stuff, they are the ones pumping up crypto more and more and more. So at 8:30, we are going to have CPI data live. Yep, we're going to go a deep dive into it. We're also going to talk about trending CPI data. Like I said, we've been floating around anywhere from 3.1 to 3.7 here since June. It's a little too high, to be honest with you. All right, that is a little too high. And the reason it is a little too high has to do with this right here. Let's draw just a little bit for everyone, okay? The reason we're worried about it being too high is, and let me get a little cleaner screen. I'll make a cleaner drawing for everyone. How about that? The reason it's just a little bit too high, all right, and the reason it makes us uncomfortable is because we had this nice move right there, all right? That's the move we had. Let's go to our highlighter. We had this good, solid move down, but then look what happened, okay? We then went sideways here since June. You don't want that one. You do not want that one. And hey, check it out. I've got one of my detractor fans in there. Klaus Fud Clown, awesome. I'm so glad you have nothing else better to do with your day than to troll a live stream. At least do me a favor and like try to get laid or something in the meantime. Walker Survivor says, I hope Sailor and BlackRock doing an ego bag sizes. Who's the biggest whale? Well, in fact, Walker, I'm glad you brought that up. When Sailor did his purchase, okay, Sailor was converting senior notes, senior debt, and a lot of the debt was structured, I believe, to expire at 2030. So he's restructuring stuff. He's also taking any shares that he has available to him at that time from MicroStrategy, selling them and converting them into BTC. So what happened was Sailor started off, and Sailor was like, look, I'm going to buy $600 million with convertible notes. And then what happened was about a week later, Sailor was like, no, we're going to up that to 700 million, okay? Then all of a sudden, BlackRock comes in, okay? BlackRock comes in, IBIT, by the way, that's their ticker symbol. BlackRock comes in, okay? And BlackRock just booms it, okay? They buy even more than Sailor. Now, that was for about a week and a half. BlackRock was the big king of the mountain. Then out of nowhere, Sailor is like, dude, I don't like this. Sailor then converted, I thought it was like 834 million, something like that, 834, 836, somewhere in the 830s or 820s in terms of senior notes. That's nuts, man. Like, that is nuts. So Walker Survivor, you're onto something here. Because you know what? If Sailor has that much of an ego and he has that much of a piggy bank that he can play with, then yeah, he might want to be the BTC king of the mountain. And think about this, okay? Sailor is a maxi, and I'm gonna share this with everyone, kind of like how this works, okay? Sailor believes that Bitcoin is the end-all, know-all. Sailor is sitting there, and Sailor's like, you know what? Bitcoin is going to be what we need it to be. Now, that being said, what Sailor believes is that governments, the dollar, and currencies around the world are going to go to crap because they're centralized. And Sailor believes that centralized entities are going to fall. Now, BlackRock being one of the most centralized financial ownerships now of BTC, Sailor's like, whoa. BTC is for decentralized, right? That's the whole premise of it. There's no controlling entity of it. Well, now if BlackRock has started and BlackRock is buying it, and Sailor's like, whoa, BlackRock centralized, we don't want that. That puts more pressure on Sailor to keep up the front with BTC and to keep buying. So I think you guys are on to things. I really do. I'm very big on the idea that Sailor is going to keep defending his BTC. In fact, his latest purchase of BTC, and here, I've got his tweet here. I wanted to share it with you guys and gals, because 7.8% of you are ladies in here. Listen to this. So Sailor's recent purchase, okay? He purchased recently at 68,000 per BTC, okay? 68,000. So he is buying like at the top. And he's saying, I don't care because it's going to go up even more. So he acquired an additional 12,000 BTC for $821 million. His average is 33,000 per Bitcoin at $6.91 billion. So it's definitely, you're seeing a Saylor BlackRock thing. Now, what's good for us is Saylor is more on our side of the spectrum, okay? He's much more on the idea of decentralization. He's not as big of a fan of the whole BlackRock thing. So, hey, if Saylor and BlackRock want to go at each other and they want to play like who's got the bigger dong, well, then, dude, let them play. Because guess what? We all benefit. Okay? And that's what we talked about earlier, is making money on the backs of the devil. Sometimes you got to make a nasty deal to make some money. You have to play in the dirty pools to make some money. And that's what's happening right now. Trick says the ego has landed. Yeah, and that ego that's landed with Saylor, that's an ego with big bags. Because like I said, when he starts using more and more money from MicroStrategy to buy BTC, essentially MicroStrategy just becomes a BTC holding company. That's all it is. And that's fine with me. I have no issues with that whatsoever. So that's the big story right now with BTC, with the market pumping. Yes, the market's pumping. Yes, we're happy about that. But we also have to be very careful because BlackRock, IBIT is their ticker symbol, and I'll put that up here. IBIT, here we go. iShares BlackRock. iShares BlackRock is owning more and more and more. And check this out. So for the BlackRock fans that got into IBIT, all right, you have been able to nearly double your gains since the conversion into ETFs. So that's a very healthy thing to look at. Arvin Morado says, is this going to be the dump or the pump? Honestly, it's going to depend on CPI data. If CPI data comes in hot, we're just putting more pressure on the Fed, man. That's the problem. If CPI data comes in hot and comes in up here or stays in this range right here, that's not good. We really do. We really need CPI data now to start coming and trickling back on down to this target area right here. We are super close, but we are not there yet. Now, when we start looking at the contracts that tie into this, and you guys know I love following money, the current contract, right, or the one we're going to be working into, okay, is going to be 8 days away and 5 hours. We are expecting to pause at that time. The chance of him turning down the money, I don't see that happening. Now, look what happens when you go to May. This is where things have been kind of shitty, all right? And this is where the market's kind of starting to price this in a little bit. May contract, which we thought was going to be where we had our best chance of getting juicy, guess what happened? May contract doesn't look like it. Let's now move to the June. June contract is where we've got about a 50% chance that we're going to start seeing some easing of rates, which would be great for all of us. But remember, though, when we were covering this, we were always looking at the March contract being when rates would change, and then we saw the May one, and then guess what? Now we're looking more for the June contract. We got Wig Busta in the house. We got Simone hanging out with us as well. Patton 357 hanging out as well. Will the money printer go burr? Glad to be here. Good luck all. Well, thank you all for joining. So yeah, we're waiting for it. We're waiting for that money to go down. Now, okay, this is why I follow this, okay? Here's why. First things first, what do we talk about? Inflows of money, okay? This is awesome. But remember, this inflow, what you're seeing right here, there is a lot of venture capital money that is not flowing into crypto right now. I used to do stories about every month where you would see at least $1 to $2 billion worth of fresh venture capital money flowing into the crypto market. That has now turned down to like $500 million. Like the valve has really been turned down. Why? Money is expensive, okay? So as money becomes cheaper, which is going to happen as the Fed starts turning down their base rates. Why would they be turning down their base rates? Because if we get lucky with inflation going down, we're going to be good, okay? So what happens is if the Fed starts turning down the rates, that makes money cheaper. When money is cheaper, guess what happens? More venture capitalist money will flow into the market. So now, not only would you have, yeah, I know, your BlackRocks and all the traditional finance stuff pumping up the crypto market, but you would then be able to get an extra wave of money flowing in from the venture capital group. Now, the venture capital group, are they going to dip their toes in the water right away? No. They're going to wait for rates to peel down even more. Venture capital has about 5 months of cheap money left to use, and then they get into the super expensive stuff. So we're going to have to wait a while here for venture capital to get in, but they're going to start putting their toes in the water as soon as rates go down. So what we're looking at is we're looking at inflows now being based from traditional finance conversion and luring sideline market money to now being able to look at venture capital money coming back into the market. So now you could see a secondary pump, and that could really, really help us out. Vlad says he's wrong on rates. You don't want them to drop yet. I haven't said they're going to drop rates yet. I'm asking for lower inflation data. Lower inflation data will later turn into dropping of rates. In fact, if the first real chance we have of rates dropping is in the June 12th meeting. So make sure y'all are listening and following along. Do I want rates to drop now? Hell no. The reason I don't want rates to drop right now is because we just had a really good jobs report come out. You do not want to drop rates right now and spark more inflation problems. That is not what you want them to do. MJ says, good, let them buy high. Talking about centralized money. And that's what we've been talking about. Massive flows into crypto. What would be great is if we got a little bit more support from retail. But remember, retail, it's hard. Retail is super, super hard. You're paying a lot of money for stuff right now. So yes, can you put money into crypto? Of course you can. But you're paying a lot for your homes. You're paying a lot for your food. You're paying a lot for your cars. So traditional finance, your BlackRock and all those other players out there are definitely pumping up crypto. The BTC ETF has provided more liquidity to the market than we've seen over the past year. Check out the chart I got on the screen, okay? This is weekly inflows, all right? Vlad Pawnstar says, I just hope it stays the same to let this market roar. What we need CPI to come down. That would be great for the market. Jerome's he's not gonna lower rates for a while. He's not. Housing is still way too high. For those of you out there that are watching, housing is way too high and supply sucks. Supply sucks right now, which means housing prices are gonna stay higher for longer. But look at all the inflows that you see right here, right on this right-hand side of the screen, okay? All of those inflows are from BTC ETFs, and here's the best part. Look at how much higher those inflows are compared to everything we've seen over the last 3 quarters of a year. So this really is about the flow of money. Now, what we're going to be paying attention to and seeing what happens is, will the market react to CPI data? If we get really hot CPI data, we get more CPI data that's like the 3.7s and so forth, do not be ready for good stuff. High CPI data is bad for all of us. Like, it is. It means we're paying more. It also means that the Fed is going to pause for longer. And then that's when we pivot and we start looking at the contracts. And we start looking at the June contract. Then we start looking at the July contract. That's what this is all about, all right? We're just looking to see where the action is going to come. Oh, no worries on that, Vlad Pawnstar. I'm glad that we got it all sorted out. Wigbuster says, I'm up 900% on GLQ. Way to go right there. There's a lot of things pumping in the market. And the thing is, all right, not everything is pumping in the market. Let me do something really quick here. I'm going to bring up another screen, okay? I'm going to bring this up right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to look on this right-hand column, okay? Look at this right-hand column. This is the move over the last 7 days. Vlad asked, what time is the CPI data CPI data is 8:30, so 2 minutes away. So check out on the right-hand side of the stream. 7-day. Look at the moves on the 7-day. BNB up 25% on the 7-day. XRP up 6%. You got some reds here. Look, SHIB down, but we know memes pumped. Doge is down. We know memes pumped. We get it. 10% for Avalanche. Polkadot essentially sideways. Toncoin moving big here. So you're seeing the majority of the market is fairly green. Near protocol up almost 60%. 60%. Sam Matthew James says, no, it's bull because it's a lagging indicator. Sam, get into the real world. Everything is lagging. Like, do you think, so like if a house sells today, do you think that data automatically translates to the market like that? No, it takes time. You think the sales that Walmart does today shows up on the executive desk? No, it takes time. Everything is lagging. Everything. But what is important about the data is that the sources are consistent. Inflation is lagging. Every data is lagging. There is no data out there, all right? No data out there that is timely. That is just the truth. There is no data out there that is timely. All right? Just throwing it out there. Let's keep rolling here. So looking at this, you're seeing a lot of green in the market. Near protocol looking good. Filecoin up 3% last 7 days. So there are things moving. And I'm going to now move to CPI data because I'm going to see what she says. And Hold on, I'm going to keep hitting refresh and see what she looks like here. Give me a second. And how are you all doing today? Is everyone doing good this morning? Waiting for the February drop in data because we want to see what happened. Are you expecting energy to go up? Because yes, we've been seeing fuel prices here as of late pop up, and that's not nice. Still waiting for the February data. CPI might show good today. Prices are 50% higher than years ago. Yeah, no kidding. That's why you look at the month over month and oh shit. Oh shit. I just refreshed it and it is not good. Oh shit. That is not good. All right, so we went back up. We went from 3.1 to 3.2. I've got the CPI data up on the screen and let's read the note and see what they say. I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill my camera so that you all can see what I'm doing here. Give me a second. Let me kill my camera. Here we go. Let's get into it. The consumer price index for all urban consumers increased 0.4% in February on a seasonally adjusted basis after rising 0.3% in June. The all items index increased 3.2% before seasonal adjustment. Everyone keeps telling me that I'm a moron and I don't know what I'm talking about with housing. You would be wrong. You would be wrong. Why? The index for shelter rose in February, as did the index for gasoline. Didn't I just say that? Combined, these two indexes, oh shit, contributed for over to 60% of the monthly increase. So housing and gasoline is 60% of this inflation. Oh shit. Vlad Pawnstar says, thank you for the stream. Well, thank you very much for the support. Everyone, give Vlad a big thank you for the support of the channel as is customary. Anyone that does a super chat, super thanks donation of any sort, we all want to thank them because it supports the channel. Simone says, RIP rate cuts. Yeah, at housing. Until we get housing in line, that is going to put more pressure on the Fed. What is everyone's biggest bill out there? It's your shelter. It's your housing costs, followed usually by your car. All right? I mean, that's nuts. So housing is the big one, and housing went up. Let's keep reading here. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.4% in February as it did in January. So basically, we're not going down anymore. That is not what you want to read. All right, now let's take a deeper look into the data. And we also got some support from Trick rolling in. Trick, thank you very much, sir. Love the support. I'm trying to give you a like on here. I don't know why it's not letting me give you a like. So everyone, please give Trick and Vlad Pawnstar a big thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Let's take a deep dive in here and see what is going on. So we're going to look at energy, okay? Fuel oil, gasoline, okay, we got you right there. Oh, hey, I wasn't supposed to go backwards in one window. Let's take a look at food. What's happening? Food away from home, okay. For those of you that like to go out to dinner, those of you that like to treat your significant other, food away from home is still freakishly freaking high. All right, way too high. Food at home, still up there. What is high at food at home? You're still looking at non-alcoholic beverages being up, cereal as well. I mean, this is crazy stuff here because, I mean, like, when are we going to get a break with housing? And we're not. Oh, by the way, did you guys see that the HUD lady, hold on. The HUD lady quit yesterday. HUD, oh God, what was her name? I'm trying to think of, yeah, here we go. So this lady here, all right, and I'm telling you, this is messed up, man. So this lady bailed, all right? Marsha Fudge bailed. She's been the head on for the HUD, right, for the housing, okay? And she made a comment that said, you know what? Here, I'll read to you what she said, okay? When I took office, we inherited a broken housing system with fair housing and civil rights protections badly dismantled under the prior administration. You know what side she's leaning for. What basically she said was there is nothing more that she can do. That is what she said. There is nothing more that she can do. Wigbuster Paul chimes in with some support as well. Thank you very much, Paul. Everyone give Paul, Vlad Pawn Stars, and Trick some thank you for support of the channel. I really appreciate it. So here's the problem. All right, housing is high. You got the lady leaving HUD, okay? And she even said, she's like, there's not much more she can do. That's what she said. She said there's just not more she can do. So you got the HUD lady bailing, all right? You've got housing being 60%. 60%. Housing and gas being 60% of why the increase went up. So the increase goes up, which means what, everyone? It means that money is going to stay expensive for a while. It means that inflation is high. It means that what, everyone? It means that you're going to have more pressure on the United States and global banks around the world. Now, what you're seeing here, right? This Bitcoin candle right here, this is people thinking, hey, that the dollar is going to fail. Inflation's going to stay high. The dollar is going to fail. That's what this candlestick here is right now. Give it some time and wait for the market to digest all this information. Because right now, if housing stays high, and housing is the number one thing that Jerome Powell and central banks across the globe are worried about, that means it's going to pause longer for rates, which means money is going to stay expensive as well. Yes, gold is moving, and you guys all know I love gold. I'm a huge gold and silver guy. It's awesome stuff. Come on now. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you haven't been happy how gold and silver has been moving. Come on now. Come on now. Tony Rice, listen to this. Tony Rice has got a really good comment here. Tony Rice says, you won't get a break from housing, still a housing shortage. And that's exactly the biggest problem right now. There is a lack of affordable housing, and there is lack of housing inventory. Housing inventory right now is an absolute freaking mess. Absolute freaking mess right now. So if there's no inventory out there, right? Think of supply and demand, okay? Let's think of supply and demand. If there's no inventory out there, all right, you got low supply, but you still have some demand. Is demand super high? No, it's not super high because rates are high, right? You'd be paying a lot for the price of the home and a lot for the interest on the home. So the inventory, though, being crazy low is offsetting the demand. So when you have a crazy low inventory, you're going to actually have people putting bidding wars on stuff. That is not what you need right now. And for those of us that are in the northern hemisphere, our home selling market and home buying market is about to turn on. Things start picking up the end of March, the beginning of April, right around Easter time, you start seeing housing going up. Sam Matthews says, yeah, same in the UK. Buildings are going up everywhere. And that's, we need more inventory of affordable housing. I was taking a run a few days ago, and I was running, and I live very rurally, okay? So I was taking a run a few days ago, and I passed this house for sale. It was a home with 2 acres. The home was a piece of crap. If I would have like run into the house, I probably would have knocked it over, okay? So it was a home, 2 acres on a rural busy road. They're asking $250,000 for that crap. That is insanely overpriced. So until housing goes down, inflation is going to stay high because housing can offset it. We've seen gasoline recently go up, which is also reflective in this report here. All right. So as money stays higher, it's going to push the Fed fund rate targets higher for longer. And you know it's going to happen because in 8 days, yes, in 8 days, 5 hours, and 20 minutes, we are going to be watching the Fed. And you know what's going to happen. Jerome Powell is going to say exactly what we're saying right now. Housing is high, and until housing breaks, we have to keep looking at the data, and we have to keep rates higher for longer. There ain't no way he is going to lower rates anytime soon. Grimalga says, hey Klaus, hey Klaus, long time no see, hope you're good. I am doing very, very well. I appreciate it. Boozy B says, same in the Netherlands. Yeah, everywhere right now, there is a housing shortage, and housing is super expensive. So again, let's come back full circle, okay? Full circle is this. Are we happy that BTC is pumping? Yes. Are we happy that BTC is pulling the rest of the market with us? Yes, we are. But that is BlackRock owning a lot of crypto. That is centralized ownership of crypto, which is bad. Bad, bad, bad. Naughty, bad. Now, that means we have to wait longer for more retail money to flow in, and it means we have to wait longer for more venture capital money to flow in. Venture capital is something that you see them going into these projects and supporting these projects. They take the risk. Venture capital takes the risk. Okay, BlackRock's risky move was buying BTC. Right? Think about it. They did an ETF. How risky is that? All right? So now the issue is that if they're looking at that, what's the risky stuff? The alts. And that's where the venture capital comes in and helps out more. Lake 210 side says there's housing inventory, but prices are remaining sticky because no one wants to sell for a loss. New home builders aren't listing the houses they have available, so they don't flood the market. And it's also, that's the problem too. It's also a problem because supplies are still too high. We've still seen building supplies and building materials way too high than what it should be. Trick says, I'm thinking no cuts until 2025. Trick, we've been following it, man. We were looking, remember when the March contract was like at an 80% chance? Look, the March contract just changed. They said, he's not going to pause. Do you remember that though? We used to think that the March contract had like a 50% chance of lowering. And then we were like, dude, like the May contract has really got the percentage chance. Now we're looking at June and we're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is not good at all. Davian Funderburk says, so are we looking towards a recession? Well, the problem is with the whole recession talk is we just had a jobs report that came out, and the jobs report was really juicy. So people are still employed at a higher rate. Debt is very high. I don't know if any of you out there follow credit card debt or debt as a whole. Debt is very, very high. Wigbus is talking exactly what we're talking about. Wigbus says, Klaus, the same loan 10 years ago is $1,300 a month. $2,300, $2,600 a month now. Exactly. Actually, it's not even 10 years ago, Paul. We're talking since like maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. The actual same loan has doubled in price. It's crazy. Sir Yeatsley says, the UK is screwed. Believe me, I'm there right now. Dude, it's the UK. It's the United States. Canada is messed up in housing. I know Canada is messed up in housing because I know Reverend Funky is going to talk to us about Canada being messed up with housing. MJ says debt is through the roof. Yeah, debt right now. Here, I'm going to put debt into perspective for you, okay? Debt right now is higher than it was pre-Rona levels, okay? That's how high debt is, okay? Now, think about this. What were interest rates pre-Rona levels? Super low. So debt was high at a super low time. Think about that, right? Debt was low at a super low time. Debt was low, debt was high while rates were super low. Now, debt is high while rates are very, very high. Messi Leo says, did we get the data yet? Yes, we did. CPI went up. Housing and energy is what just over. Check it out. We bumped back up to 3.2.4 month over month gain. That is not good. That is not good at all. And so the reason why all this stuff is important is because when you buy a house, when you buy your Lambo, when you use your credit cards, when you have businesses, right, business loans, those rates are going to stay higher for longer, which means people that want to expand, you've got a couple choices. You can either pay the high interest with your loans, right, which removes your buying power, or you can empty your cash reserves, get around that paying cash for stuff and not have any interest rate loans. So this is kind of interesting how this is working out, because as rates stay higher, everything you see on the screen stays more expensive for longer. Make XRP Great Again says, let's fucking go, Klaus. You are the man. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tony Rice says, people are still buying thinking they will refinance. Yeah, that's kind of the one thing too, is you're going to have a lot of banks making money on the refinance a couple years down the road. All right? You know that's going to happen. But they're not going to refinance until rates are a bit more favorable. In terms of like mentally speaking, like where would the mental relief for rates come in? If you could get the Fed fund rate from 525, 550 into the low fours, like 400 to 4.25, the market would change. The market would change. All right, that's super, super good. In terms of bank collapse, remember, bank collapse has to do with the bond gap. And for those of you that do not know what the bond gap is, give me 1 second here. I've got a screen for that. Here's the deal with the bond gap. I've got so many screens ready for you. Remember, this is a news channel, and we're going to learn here. Here's the problem. A lot of banks, okay, put their cash into these bonds. See, banks don't just sit on cash, right? They don't want to sit. They want their money to work for them. Even if it's a 1%, 2%, 3% yield, they want their money to work for them, okay? So during the pandemic time, during the Rona, banks put a shitload of money into bonds, okay? They put their money into bonds that were yielding probably around 1%, 1 to 1.25%, 1.5%. That's not good, because now those same bonds are yielding you way, way more. So banks are at a gap. So the longer the rates stay high, the more banks have their money tied up into lower yield bonds. If their money is tied up into lower yield bonds and they need to pull that money out, they take a penalty and they have less than what they started, which is not good, because as we know, everything is more expensive now. So if you take money out, you have less than what you started, and you're paying for something more expensive, you're double screwed. You're getting Eiffel Towered, all right? For those of you in the comments that know what I'm talking about, you are getting Eiffel Towered, okay? Wigbuster said, I just had a friend sell everything here in the U.S. and buy land in Mexico. You're going to see more of that. You're going to see more people leaving the United States and moving to places cheaper. You see it all the time on House Hunters, right? People leaving Canada, going to Mexico because it is so much more affordable. And here, let's do this. Let's go to the 5-year, okay? This is what we were talking about earlier in the video where we were getting a little nervous, okay? Is that when we zoom out to the 5-year with rates, we did a really good job, all right? We did a really good job with inflation, right? It pumped up quick during the pandemic. We did a really good job knocking it down right here. But now look what happened. Now we are essentially sideways. That is not what you want. When things stay expensive for a while, you get used to it. Well, you guys want to play a game? Do you want to role play and play a game? I'm going to show you exactly how dangerous this becomes, okay? Let's think of gas, okay? Let's think of gas. Let's pretend you pay $4 a gallon for gas for like a year, okay? You're paying $4 a gallon gas for a year. Then all of a sudden, gas drops to $3.50. You're like, oh my God, this is freaking awesome. Gas is $3.50 a gallon, and you're super excited. Now, let's say gas stays at $3.50 a year for the year, right? $3.50 a gallon for the year. You're like, this is awesome. But the problem is it's not, because gas used to be way cheaper. You're just used to something being expensive for a longer period of time. And that mentally screws you over because you get used to high prices. Once you get used to high prices, that sets the stage for hyperinflation. All right? My wife and I just actually dealt with this. My wife and I were shopping last week, and we were talking about eggs. Eggs shot up in price again. But you know what we said? We were like, oh, you know what? At least it's not as high as it was during the pandemic when eggs were like $25 for like 4 or 5 dozen. That's what I'm saying. If prices stay high for longer, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. We can handle this. No, that sets the stage for things to pop on back up price-wise and lead to hyperinflation. Agjan Tomek says, is that the case only in the United States? No, that's everywhere. And in fact, just kind of throw this out there. If you look at the top of the chat, okay, there is a gentleman up at the top of the chat. His name is I'm gonna mess it up. Moshtaba Nagavi, okay? Moshtaba Nagavi, all right? His country does exactly what the United States does. So if Jerome Powell and the Fed come out and they're like, look, we're gonna raise rates, they do too. There are a ton of countries, Middle East, a ton of them that take cues from the Fed. As soon as the Fed does something, those countries do the exact same thing. There's a lot of countries that financially mimic the dollar as well. So I know the dollar is not king. I don't care about that. But the dollar and what happens policy-wise spreads to so many places in the world. So if you have prices staying high for longer, guess what? You just have to eat it. Okay. I know Trick, this has happened to. I know Reverend Funky, I've talked about this. Think of you out there. How many of you out there got kids? How many of you out there have kids that want to buy a home? Right? How many out there have kids that you want to buy a home? And guess what? You're sitting here going, you know what? Homes are expensive. But you want your kid to buy a house, right? But if homes stay expensive for a long time, you're almost sitting there going, well, you might as well just buy it, refi later, right? That's dangerous, though, because that sets the stage for hyperinflation. And inflation is cumulative as well. Because and I'm glad you brought that up, Fizzlesticks, because when you look at this data and you see, hey, we have a year over year 3.1%, don't forget that's 3.1% on a previous year that was already high. So you're higher on high. That's really high. And then that's when I ask you, when was the last time you were that high? Inflation high. And Trick says, yeah, me, exactly. And that's my point. So if you have kids, and I'm in the same boat, Trick. My kids are in their early 20s. And the kids, they want homes, right? They want homes because they're having kids. You know, my kids are having kids and stuff like that. And they're sitting here going, what do we do? What do we do? What if home prices keep going up? They're worried, so then they buy now. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if prices stay high for too long, you get used to it. All right, for all my friends out in the UK, you guys know gas has been crazy high for a while, right? You're used to it. That's the problem. So if gas is high for a while and you're used to it, you know what happens. Oh, here's Moshaba's commenting now. I will never be able to buy a house, and that's the truth. And Moshaba is one of the viewers, all right, who joins us quite often, who his country, where he lives, takes cues directly from the Fed. He does not live in the United States, but his country takes cues from the dollar. So what happens to the dollar reflects his financial situation as well. So that's why this data is super, super important. That's why we keep looking at this stuff. We keep following the data more and more and more because it leads to what we need to know. And that is, what is the flow of money? How expensive is money? And in fact, let's take a look at the old heat map right here. And let's do this, all right? This is what we got up for the day. For the last 24 hours, XRP is sitting deeper in the green, up 12% here in the last 24 hours. Sol, by the way, looking healthy at 151. Optimism down 5%. Flow up 7%. Arbiter made a big move as well, but they're down 4 point. Fathom down as well. So the market is moving very, very independently of itself. Now, you saw meme pump very heavily. Meme is now retracing a bit, okay? But meme is still overall very, very strong. But the market has to digest this, and the market's going to have to digest this for longer. And then we start looking at rates. We start looking at how far out we're going to be pushing these rates to get these Fed fund rates to come down, and it sucks. It sucks. Sniff says, Klaus, at some point, people are going to have to address the elephant in the room. The elephant really likes bagels, by the way. Schmutz. Schmutz. Am I saying that right? Schmutz. Here's the issue. Leaders in the United States, leaders in the UK, leaders everywhere are not doing what's right for the people. Housing is not affordable. Food is expensive. Have you gone out recently to eat? Have you gone out and seen how expensive is food at restaurants? It's crazy. It is not coming down. In fact, there is a really cool Mexican restaurant by us in town. And I'm sure y'all have seen this. This is now the second or third time in the last couple of years that I have seen them reprint a new menu with all new prices. We've got a Mandarin restaurant by us. Same thing. They've reprinted all their prices yet again. You're paying more and more and more for stuff. Food outside of the house is expensive. When you go grocery shopping, it's expensive. When you fill up your pump, it's expensive. I just rebuilt the engine on the Subaru. It's fun stuff. I love that thing. I love that car. Rebuilt the engine on the Subaru. Dude, parts are still way freaking high. Are they as high as they were during the Rona pandemic peak? No, nowhere near. But they're still way, way high. Mission Barbecue has some bomb-ass brisket. Well done, Sniff. Well done. And that's where we're at right now. Things are just so expensive. And they're staying expensive. And they're not going down. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks. And the issue that we have is because governments aren't doing anything. So what happens is this, okay? What happens is people go and they want to blame Jerome. All right? Well, the problem is you really can't blame Jerome because what can he do? All he can do is raise rates, lower rates, pause, a little quantitative easing. He could help out some books a little bit. That's all he can do. But the policies for affordable housing, the policies to make sure we're not spending like drunken sailors, that all comes, not Michael Sailors, but the policy, that all comes from the government. I mean, think about it. All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and if I piss anyone off, so be it, okay? I am so fucking tired of hearing about all this fucking, let's send more money to the Ukraine. Let's give more money to the Middle East. No. Take care of yourself first. We have bridges that are falling apart. Roads that are falling apart. Homeless problems. Veterans that don't even have proper care. There are veterans right now that are on 3 to 4 month wait lists to get in to see a doctor. The same people that protect our countries, all right, are not getting the service they need because there's a shortage of doctors, because there's a shortage of funding. Meanwhile, that funding is going across the pond. And I'm not talking about to my friends in the UK. I'm talking about to the Middle East. I'm talking about to the Ukraine and so forth. It's bullshit. It is so fucking bullshit. And, you're going to keep having high rates. You're going to keep having high costs because these scumbags in government are going to keep sending money everywhere except for where it needs to go. And that's the people that really need it. Okay. All right. I don't mean to get all fired up. But when a plane runs into trouble, the oxygen masks drop down, right? What is the rule? You put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help anyone else. Do you know why? So that you can function. They want to make sure that you can function before you help anyone else. That's the same thing that's happening with the fucking government. Tony Rice, it's time to move to Poland. It's crazy. And that's what's happening. You're seeing more people go to places where it's affordable. Because that's the only chance we got, man. No, I cannot drink right now because I have a race in 4 days, 3.5-ish days, 4 days. So no drinking for me. I need to be sober. Susie. After the race, though, I can enjoy myself, but I cannot because I am 3.5 days away from last man standing. So, what's the big thing that we're learning from this? Centralized money is buying up crypto. BlackRock, right? Your ETFs. Centralized money is owning more and more of crypto. Venture capitalist is staying out of crypto because rates are too high. Retail is getting bent over because inflation is staying high. Specifically, and I will read it to you, the index for shelter rose in February, as did the index for gasoline. Combined, these two indices contributed for over 60% of the monthly increase. These problems that we're dealing with, these are government-related problems. The best things that you and I can do, stay on the data, pay off your debts, all right? Get rid of any high-interest debt you got, and do what you can to thwart interest rate. That's the only thing you could do. When you get into financial situations, you can only make more money or you can cut costs, right? That's all you can. There is no magic third option, all right? There is no third option. So that's what you got to do. With the government not helping us at all, they're just using our taxpayer dollar, racking up the debt. Now, hold on. I got you guys. Let's go to the debt clock. Here we go. Give me the debt clock. Now, the problem is we have 34 trillion in debt. Let's go to the world debt clocks. Oh, yeah. All right, let's do this here. Let's remove me from the screen so y'all can see the world debt clocks. So it's not just the United States at 34 trillion in debt. It's the 14 trillion in China, the 13 trillion in Japan, the 3 trillion in Germany, the 3.7 trillion in the UK, France with 3. Look at these countries. Canada 2.2. And here's the problem. It's one thing if you have a lot of debt and you got a lot of GDP, right? That's kind of one thing. All right? But what if you have a lot of debt, but you don't have a big GDP? Like France. France has a shitload of debt, very low GDP. That's bad. And these are all, everything that you're seeing on the screen, Argentina's debt, Belgium, Australia, Ireland, Korea, Mexico. You think any of these countries are in debt because of their citizens? No, they're in debt because their leaders are spending their money like drunken sailors. Look at Japan. Japan, insane debt. Their debt is 3 times the size of their GDP. That's up, man. People have no chance whatsoever. No chance. So how do you get around it? I talk to Trick about this all the time. You pay in cash for everything so you avoid interest rates. And you do whatever you can to make sure that whatever loan you have is at the lowest interest rate possible, and you pay that son of a bitch off as fast as you can. Other than that, you are going to get washed by interest rates staying higher longer. And you're like, Klaus, how high for how long? Well, it depends on if you got granddaddy perp, wedding cake, or whatever. No, it actually depends on the Fed. Fizzle Sticks is going to get a gold star on this. All have central banks. Exactly. And that's the problem, right? These central banks and these governments are not doing the right things to help people out. Like, okay, so I'll just say it this way, okay? Look at the veterans, look at the homeless. There's not enough resources for veterans and homeless. But you know what? We're going to spend billions and billions on buying more tanks, buying more missiles, sending it all over the damn place. Yeah, but what about the veterans that protected this country? What about the veterans that have fought hard, foreign and domestic, to protect the right for me to have free speech? What about all the homeless people out there that are struggling and there's no resources? These are all massive problems. How about energy independence for the United States? Jesus Christ, we've been talking about energy independence now for how freaking long, and we still don't have it. So the reason we're in trouble is not because of people like you or me. It's because countries are racking up debt, spending money like fucking morons, not spending money as if this was a business. They're spending it on the backs of the taxpayers. And that's where we sit, everyone. That's where we sit right now. Sun Tzu says, "Vive la revolution." Yeah, think exactly. Coupe la tête. French Revolution, chop the heads off, right? That's what happened. There was a time when things break and you're screwed. So, yeah, are we happy that crypto is up? Yes. Am I happy that Bitcoin is rolling at 72,000? Yes, I am. But I'm not happy, though, that the reason it's up is because of centralized ownership of Bitcoin. I'm not happy that a couple players, Sailor and BlackRock, own over 400,000 total BTC? Dude, that's crazy. Scott S. says, the educational system in America needs to be destroyed and revamped. You bet your ass, man. The educational system is a joke. You don't learn anything. You just take tests to pass. And in fact, there are plenty of kids that should not pass from the 5th to 6th grade, but the teachers pass them because that's how you get funding. You get funding for more kids that pass than you do fail. That's how federal funding works. Nair says the homeless problem in California is getting worse. Dude, it's everywhere. I was in D.C. recently. Yeah, I like to travel to D.C. What's it to ya? D.C. is a cool place to party, by the way. I do. I travel to D.C. all the time. And the homeless camps in D.C. are getting bigger and bigger, and they're spreading out more. They're getting into nicer neighborhoods. In fact, you're seeing them all over the churches right now. Churches are opening grounds for the homeless. Meanwhile, the people in D.C. are sending the money all over the damn place. So it's cool. It's cool that the crypto market is pumping. I'm happy about that. It's cool that some of our favorites are pumping. I like that. But what's not cool is that it's centralized ownership of crypto. It's high interest rates for longer. It's housing staying high. Like, housing is higher than when you do really tasty gravity bong rips. Just throwing it out there. That's how high housing is. Yeah, think about that. Housing is like you taking an Eddie every 3 to 4 hours for years on straight. You'd be fried. Fried green tomatoes, man. Andrew Butcher says, travel up to Toronto and be a guest on my podcast. Going Again podcast. Andrew, we could always do one remotely. We could always do one remotely. I'd be glad to do that. Trick says, don't forget to slap the like button. Yeah, definitely slap it. Sniff says, if I'm ever in the 757, let him know. BZ's giving the support. Thank you, BZ. By the way, everyone, I got to give a big shout out to BZ. You'll see BZ in the comments. BZ's always giving support comments, talking about training and so forth. So I wanted to say that comments like that mean a lot. They really do. The comments mean a lot, so thank you very much for those comments. Nair says, God bless you, Klaus. We will prevail. We just need a massive change, man. We need a massive change because, yes, it's cool that Sailor owns a shitload of Bitcoin and that he's pumping up the price, that he's buying at the top. You know, you've got someone as a spokesperson for BTC. That's cool. But you also got the housing secretary going, you know what? We can't do shit about it. You also got debt just blowing up all over the place. You have the interest rate on that debt being higher, and that's the other problem. So it's not only that we have a lot of debt, but the interest rate of a lot of debt is very high. You're spending money on money. I just, yeah, coupe la tête, MJ, coupe la tête. All right? C-O-U-P accent la tête, T-E-T-E, la. I think it's la. I'm pretty sure it's la, not le. I think it's la, coupe la tête. Yeah, la, it is. It's coupe la tête, not le. Sorry, it's feminine, not masculine. So, what do? Dude, you make your money when you can. Pay your bills off. Pay off your house if you can early. Try to pay cash for stuff. Like, it's sad, but that's what it is. So like my daughters, okay? So my daughters live out west, all right? My daughters are younger, early 20s. My daughters, yeah, Andrew, definitely get a hold of me. Hit me up on Twitter or email me, dude. Twitter information, if you need to find it, Andrew, it's below my videos. Every video, you'll see my Twitter information in the description posted. My email, if you go to the main channel page, you go to the info tab, you'll see it. But think about it. Like, my girls aren't going to be able to buy a house anytime soon. It's too expensive. So they have to pay rent. Why is rent expensive? Because housing is so damn much, and the people that own all these rental homes are like, dude, we know housing is up, so let's just charge more for rent. That's the deal, Lemon Peel. So, I don't know. Nair says, off to the shower I go. Have a blessed day, Klaus and XP family. Thank you, Nair, for hanging out with us. And thank you, Trick, for replying to it. And by the way, I wanted to also give Trick a really huge shout out. Trick is in the comments often, and not only is he in the comments often, but he's also commenting on other people's comments. And I wanted to say that stuff like that means a lot to me. It means a lot because the community, the conversations, everything that we're doing right here is amazing. And seeing all of you share with each other, talk to each other is great. I love it. More Monkey Business says, please tell me what has ever gone down from the 1980s. Dude, I had a really naughty joke for that. The price of Coca-Cola. Remove the cola. Because in the 80s it was nuts. MJ says, my girls are mid-20s. Oldest bought a new home, 2,200 square feet, was $500,000. I broke my body so that they could have a great STEM education. And MJ, I'm with you there too, man. So we got property out here. We're in the rural southeast, and we got property out here. And we even said to our girls, hey, if you want, come here. We'll put another home on our property, and you guys can live on our property. That way they don't have to pay for the land and stuff like that. I mean, dude, that's what it... Oh, Trick's got a good one. Panties have come down since the 80s. Good job. Good job. Sun Tzu got the joke of remove the cola. But yeah, that's true. What do? I mean, so it's tough, man. It's really tough. And so then what happens is you got people having this fear. And the fear is hey, if I spend my cash reserves, I'm not going to have any buffer, right? But if you don't spend your cash reserves and you pay via loans, you're spending more on everything. You're spending more on cars. You're spending more on houses. You're spending more on business development. You're spending more on your credit cards, business loans, all that kind of stuff. That's not cool. Like, that's not cool at all. So that's where we're at right now. That's why when we look at how far can money go, we always talk about how expensive money is. If money is expensive and you're making a lot of it, does it really matter? No, because you're getting eaten up with interest. Now, if money gets cheaper and you're making a lot of it, well, now we've got something. Now we've got some juice. All right. John Horton says, I'm buying silver. John, Boobala, I love you, my guy. Oh, sterling silver mirrors. Oh, yes, been buying silver as well. Been buying gold as well. I've just been quiet about it lately. Just throwing it out there. Fizzlestick says, nothing has gone down since the 1913. Knock the dust off of that. All right, Fizzle Sticks, I got you beat. You know what? You know what went down? East Germany. Oh, East Germany did go down. See, I got you, man. I know my history. But that's where we're at right now. And for those of us that are parents, Trick and I have talked about this. We do what we can. We do what we can to support our kids, right? We, as parents, we try to help them out financially. We try to help them out with morals. We try to help them out with rules and education and shelter and guidance and all that. And we're doing the best we can. So, do what you can, man. That's just the deal. Do what you can. All right, this is what we're going to do. We are going to continue the stream until 9:20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up to you. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Now is the time. But we're going to end the stream at 9:20. Here we go. There we go. 9:10. Did it because our government is East Germany. I like that one. So, what do you feel? And how do you feel about this? I mean, like, I know we're all happy, right? We're happy BTC pumped to 72. We're happy that it's taken the markets with us. Like, we are. We're happy about that. But we're not happy with how it's been. We're not happy with who has been buying the BTC. All right? We're not happy that it's a lot of centralized ownership of BTC. Think of the circulating supply. Think of the circulating supply of Bitcoin. All right? Which, what are we sitting at? Circulating supply, what is it? Like 22 million coins or something stupid like that. 22 million coins, 400,000 stuff. 400,000 BTC is owned by Sailor and BlackRock. Just those two own 400,000. Lionel E has a great comment. I'm going to share this one. Lionel E says, as long as we continue to buy overly priced, stupid wax candles at Bath & Body Works, we deserve to be in debt. Lionel, it's true, man. What about, like, when I see the people with the Starbucks cup? $5, $7, $8 for a thing of coffee. That's what I'm saying. Money is still there. People are still spending. Video games. You guys know and gals know that I'm big into gaming. What about the base price of games going from $60 to $70? That's fucking crazy too. And you're not getting any value for it. You're getting games that aren't even finished and they're charging premium dollars. What about the latest game that was touted as a quadruple A game that's the biggest piece of shit out there? It's like a Sea of Thieves clone. See, you thought you were only going to talk crypto. No, we're going to talk housing. We're going to talk games. Coca-Cola without the cola. You know the deal here. So yeah, as long as we keep spending money on stupid stuff, they're going to keep charging us high prices. So you either make more money or guess what? You save more. You cut your costs. That's what businesses are doing right now. There's a reason businesses aren't hiring as strong as they were before, because they're trying to keep their profits up as much as possible. And the thing with businesses is there's a big, big mess with that. Like a big, big mess with businesses. Now, granted, all right, we know that the cost of stuff has come down compared to peak Rona, but it's still way higher than it was before. Crypto hot potato is still... Oh, yeah, then you got to buy the DLC. Crypto hot potato is still going on. Right? Bankruptcies are getting settled and paid out now. By the way, Luna, UST, and Celsius, we're coming up on the 2-year mark here soon. 2-year mark and people are getting their money now. So you're going to have more of that money getting paid out. Crypto hot potato getting taken care of. Genesis DCG, they're getting that taken care of. I mean, it's crap, man. And when we look at it, we just have this big glaring number right in our face. Trillions and trillions and trillions in debt. And you just can't forgive debt because that means someone's on the hook for it. Right? Like, let's say I owe Trick $1,000, right? And I'm like, well, Trick, I'm just gonna default on the debt. Trick doesn't get the $1,000. Now Trick can't give that $1,000 to his daughter to help her out with something. So all this debt that's mounting is people not getting their money somewhere down the road. Somewhere down the chain, someone's not getting paid. All right, that's what debt is. Debt piling up means more people are not getting paid. Ooh, Trick says, have a wonderful day, everyone. I'm getting ready to order my new car. Yes, love it. VR Chat Fanatic hanging out with us in the house, who recently was hanging out in London. I saw the comment on that. So yeah, $1,200, you're 2 weeks late. I know you're going to break my knees, man. Can you wait till after the race, dude, to break my knees, please? Well, they'll be broken during the race anyways. But, and that's the thing. So this debt, right? People aren't getting paid. So if you default on debt, somewhere down the road, someone's not getting their money. You just keep playing that game. So then if Trick is waiting for my $1,200 to give to his daughter, I bet his daughter is waiting for that money to Trick to give to someone else. That's the thing, man. Which results in higher defaults and bank bailouts. Very true, MJ. Very true. Tony says, greetings from alls. I don't have that accent. I'm not that good at it. I feel that the crypto market is quite immature with a lot of unsophisticated investors being manipulated like BlackRock. Not to mention way too many useless coins. Tony, it's true. The crypto markets are manipulated. They manipulate people. That's what a lot of the meme pumps are. Meme is just gambling. I mean, that's all it really is. It's just another version of gambling. You want to get in while stuff's hot. I mean, that's just how it is, man. BTC, though, looking still good. I know. We wish other people held it rather than BlackRock. I get it, man. Anjan Tomek says, thank you for the stream. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We've got about a minute until the stream ends, so if you've got any questions, get in now. Sniff says, been in crypto since 2020. There's always a black swan crash. Always, yeah. Crypto is still very volatile, and it's a game where a lot of hodlers have not been rewarded. That's just been the deal. A lot of hodlers have not been rewarded. People have been playing the pumps and dumps, and you've been seeing that with some of our favorites. I mean, you can sorry, my throat. You can zoom out a little bit with XRP here and be like, okay, cool. Are we going to repeat this pattern where we move right back down again to the 50, 60 cent range? Probably. I mean, if history repeats itself, you sure as better believe that that's what's going to happen. So yeah, let me know how you feel regarding everything. What I'm going to do right now is I am going to end the stream. I'm going to hang out with y'all in chat here for a few minutes. I wanted to thank everyone for joining. I wanted to thank everyone that donated to the channel. Super chat, super thanks. I greatly appreciate it. It goes a long, long way. Administrative notes, just letting everyone know I may not be able to do a lot of videos Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to be incapacitated. So please just be understanding that there might be a little bit of delay with the news here this weekend because I am racing this weekend. Just keep that in mind. Lionel E says, wasn't crypto supposed to be decentralized? It was all a dream. Exactly. Crypto's supposed to be decentralized, but the two biggest single owners, Michael Saylor and BlackRock, as of recent, Michael Saylor and BlackRock, they own over 400,000 BTC. Two people, entities, I'll say, 400,000 BTC. So I wanted to thank everyone for watching the channel. I've got all this stuff linked in the description below. If you need to get a hold of me, you know how to do it. What I am going to do right now is I am going to play some tunes, hang out with chat. I'll catch you cool cats later today as more news breaks.
Don't leave me